We've started with a wonderful overview from Chris Tucker, the world in front of us of spatial data infrastructures. It starts at the dawn of time, goes through Napoleon into George Washington to the present day. We began to hear next from LaTanya Sweeney that, wait a second, this is a little harder than it looks. And privacy is a worry. You can do as much damage trying to fix privacy as you, maybe even more, than if you just left it alone. We can't be sure. Just heard from Bernd. Here's something very, very important about the data and about the integration. This is not easy. There is still a lot of uncertainty and risk in managing the transition from data to information to insight to action. A tough road to walk. Raj Singh is here to tell us a little bit about how he's going to make it easier for us by making sure we've got all those standards that we were looking for ready, set to go. Raj? I don't know that that's what he's going to do. It's possible.
Okay, so it's always tough to talk about standards and SDIs, and at the Kennedy Center, which is mainly about policy, right? Not many people programming every day here. But so I'll try to bring it home. So what I want to talk about today, the SDI panel is, I think, a lot about government data, big data, and I want to add modeling into that. I think modeling is going to become a really big topic of interest as we sort of have a paradigm shift of a new generation of professionals who are going into management who are now grew up with the internet and web services and are able to take some of these data sets we've had around for decades, large imagery data sets from NASA, tons of census data, all this government stuff. They've sort of been, they've been the area of geeks and like really good researchers, but I think they're going to be more and more used in sort of normal modeling tasks, and we'll see that percolate up society a lot more in the future. So, like Bernd just talked about, as we take all these huge data sets and create models, we're going to need to track uncertainty and provenance if we hope to have any control over them. And scientific data is sort of hard to talk about, but one good way to bring this home to everybody, I think, is the banking crisis we had a few years ago. If you really think about what that was, it was big data. It was data about property transactions, mortgages, property values, or the lack of value, and how much people were borrowed on that, how much they were leveraged on that property. And what happened was we took those, or some smart investment bankers took those, created models of how much they might be worth, and bundled those into real estate investment trusts. Then you had these packages that you'd invest on that really nobody in the industry knew what they were buying. And we had some rating agencies saying they were AAA or whatever, but they were actually junk. And so we lost the connection between the actual data, the original data, and what came out at the end that people bought because the modeling threw away all the uncertainty and provenance on the real estate. As a side note, OGC is working with the mortgage industry on standardizing some property IDs, so maybe once you create these bundles of properties, you could actually track it back to where they actually were on the ground. Because at the end of this deal, a lot of people had no idea what they were buying. So, as far as how that fits into your policy framework, probably has a lot of impact. But what's really interesting me lately is a more scientific angle on climate change. So we're participating in a National Science Foundation proposal to look at taking a bunch of data services that a lot of research institutions in the country are putting online and trying to create good modeling tools and allow research institutes to be able to, more quickly collect these things together to do climate modeling or earth science modeling in general. And that's going to have a lot of impacts too if you look at issues like plate tectonics, which sounds pretty dry and boring, but there's a big fault going right through the San Francisco area. What's that going to do to property as an individual? What's that going to do to regional policy planning? And then at the governmental level, what's that going to do for how we invest? And if you look at sea level rise in Florida, for example, these are trillion-dollar questions. What's going to happen in 25 years if the sea level rises in Florida 12 inches? Trillions of dollars of property will be changed forever. So, you know, my general take on this is that we're going to lag, on the policy side, we're going to lag behind the practice, the technology, the coding. But at least maybe try to catch, I guess my message would be, for the policy administrators, try to follow it close enough to catch up. And from the software side, which is a lot of the OGC members, try to build, nobody's going to spend a lot of money. Like metadata creation is going to be underfunded forever. Nobody's going to spend money on it. So software providers, please, please put in automated metadata tools into your software. Provide that, where it came from, what the uncertainty level in a particular data set was, or how it was collected, so that there's some chance of avoiding banking or climate change crises in the future.